Hi everyone, and welcome to the Curl Pearl Girl Knits podcast, episode 9. We are January the 23rd, we are Monday. Welcome and good afternoon, good morning, or good night, depending on when you listen to this. Welcome back to any returning viewers. Thank you so much for keep listening to me, and your support means the world to me. And if you're a new viewer, well, welcome, and I hope that you will enjoy this. So, not a ton of crafting done in the last few weeks since New Year, basically, simply because I've been working a lot. I've been working 12 hours a day, and I thought I could be able to actually knit a lot more than what I'm doing right now, but I knit at work. I'm under blue lights, and the socks that I was planning on being able to knit while working is actually green and blue, and actually kind of pops out black with the blue light. So I haven't been able to do as much as I would have wished. But I guess it happens, right? There's also other things that kind of popped up in the meantime since New Year, which made the socks not completed for the moment, but we're the 23rd, I still have 7 days to complete for January, and if not, as long as they're complete before the end of the year, it's fine, right? So here's how it's going to go for this episode. I have a little bit of knitting, I have a little bit of hexagon crocheted, I do have a bit of acquisition because of a knitting project that I'm gonna talk to you about that popped up in between since the new year. And I will show you some of the yarn that I will give away in the Mystery Monthly Sock Along. Yay! For those of you who participate, thank you so much. I really enjoy doing this with you guys. There's some people on Ravelry that put their pictures, and it's so fun to see what others actually do with this. And the more the merrier. So if you want to join, you can always join anytime. It's just the same rule. The only thing is that you can't back up to the previous month. So if you join this week, because we're at the end of the month, then you would kind of join for February onward. Make sense? If you have any questions about this, there is a chatter thread and a finish object thread on my Curl Pearl Girl Knits group page on Ravelry, which you can go and have a look for the Mystery Monthly Sock Along. And if you have any questions, you can just always send me a message and I will answer you. I did forget to mention, if you want to find me on the internet, you can find me under Curl Pearl Girl Knits, both on Ravelry and Instagram. So let's dig in. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about the knitting wise is the 5 shawls 5 days that is actually going on right now. I have another one for today because I wanted to record that podcast and upload it as fast as I could. But I did do the last 3 days of last week. So basically you have a different shape shawl for, it starts on a Wednesday. So you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday you have a bonus one, but you don't necessarily have to do it. It's just a bonus. Sunday is off, and then you have Monday and Tuesday. And every day you knit for 30 minutes. So it gives you a tiny shawl, but it gives you the understanding of how to construct different shapes for different shawls. And so on my day 1, it was the classic triangle shawl. The only thing is that because this takes half an hour and I'm working a lot, I kind of need to plan half an hour in my morning to do this because I know that for the rest of the day I'm not going to be able to. And I did this and I clearly didn't have enough coffee yet that day, and so I did my bind off, and I did a normal bind off, and it's too tight. It's not stretchy enough to actually be able to go and get all the length that I can, but it's fine. I'm learning, right? This is all about, it's all about the learning curves, right? So triangular shawls, that's a shape that I'm used to. I knit a lot of triangular shawls. This is the shapes I'm more comfortable with, so that was a nice way to actually start the challenge. So that was day 1. Day 2 was this shape. Oops. Here we go. I kind of liked the fact that it's not quite a triangular one, but it still has almost the same construction of it. I also like the 3 different sections that it gives you. I'm really not disliking the shape. And I think because for me it's all about wrapping around your neck, because I mostly use them as scarves more than anything, and I think that not having that pointy bit over here is really helpful, and then you can just wrap those ones. So that might be something I would do in the future, shape-wise. And then the 3rd day, which was Friday, is this shape. I'm not disliking it. I don't like it as much as the second one that I showed you. I don't know, I just feel like there's something missing for me in this kind of shape. I'm also not a fan of this because there's so much holes afterwards that I kind of feel that this is kind of weird. So not too sure about this one. Also, adding to not liking this, I don't like how big the holes are. They're way bigger than the other ones are. So, not my favorite. I'm gonna say this, not my favorite. And so the bonus one on Saturday is a square one, which I will do today because I am interested in that. I had a project in my head for a couple of years now that I still haven't done because, oh yeah, there's way too many things to knit that I want to work in a square shape. So I'm gonna have a look at that. And today is a side-to-side one, so I'm gonna do this afternoon too. I have a lot of goals for this afternoon, which will clearly not all gonna happen, sadly. So these were the 3 shapes that I had so far. 5 days, 5 shawls, 30 minutes a day. I love it. I think it's kind of fun to have that nice, like, that project that you do every day, and it's just half an hour. So when this challenge is going to be done, I think I may keep the 30 minutes a day when possible, for sure, because sometimes my days are just really, really crazy. But I think it's nice to not necessarily have to like put a lot of thought into whatever you're doing or the pattern, or and just take something that takes half an hour. And the hexagons generally takes me about 15 to 20 depending on which weight I do them. So I think I might do that with my hexagon, like hexagon once a day, 30 minutes, make one, and then you're done. I think that's gonna be I think that might be a go-to for the future. So here we go, 5 shawls, 5 days. This yarn is really, really deep stash. This is the first yarn I ever bought. I have no tags left for it, sadly. I know it's bamboo, and I know it was Red Heart. So if I might go and have a quick internet search after this, after recording this, and see if I can find it. But I know it was a Red Heart bamboo, eco-friendly yarn. But I also know that they don't do it anymore. And the needles that I've used, because my other needles of that same size are used on something else, I also digged into really deep. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a circular needle girl and not a straight needle at all. I kind of feel like they're mostly in my way more than anything else, but these are 4.5. Super sharp, extremely sharp, which was actually kind of nice to knit with. Extremely sharp, and then there's that gorgeous tip over here. And those are Handmade knitting needles, 4.5 US 7, 14 inches. They are made in India from redwood from Assam, and ebony finishes for the top. So redwood for the needle and ebony for the top. And it is made by Meiwa. I'm not too sure if that's how you pronounce that. So those were my needles for the 5 shawl 5 days, since the other ones were taking already. But these are gorgeous needles. There's nothing wrong with them. They're super pointy. They knit really well. The straight needle is just not for me, sadly. But they come in this gorgeous case. So here we go. 5 shawls, 5 days. If you want to do it next year, I think it's a really, really great thing to do, to understand the logic behind building shapes. And she also gives you, when she sends you the email with how to do the shapes, she also sends you different things that you can do if you already did the challenge, or if you want to do something else, like little tips here and there on how to transform basically what she already has and make it different. Next thing I've worked on and finished, I talked about it on my last podcast. I was on my way to start it, and I started and I finished it. And this is my pom-pom hat. I'm super happy with it. It came out gorgeous, and the pom-pom is amazing. It's so soft and so fluffy. It's so fluffy. Okay, calm down. So this is the Cabled Dad hat by Alexi Winslow. It's on her website. You can find it on Ravelry, and it's going to transfer you to her own website. She has multiple patterns there. This one is a free pattern when you subscribe to her newsletter. And it's a super intuitive knit. It doesn't require any cable needle for anything. It's just a stitch to actually do those twists, and it's a wonderful knit. It flies out. It took me a week. I was working in the day, and when I was coming back from work, I was making dinner, making dishes, and when I was sitting down before going to bed and kind of like relax of my day, I was taking out this project and knitting on it, and it took me a week. The only thing is that I had to restart it, I think 3 or 4 times. I casted out the number of stitches that she asked for, and I casted that on. I knitted about 1 inch, and then I tried it on my head, and it was way too big for me. Way too big. We're talking about 3 inches, way too big on the side of my head. So I undid that, and then I restarted it. I cast it on, and then there was a twist in my cast on, and so I was knitting, and then the twist was happening. So I had to rip off and restart over again. So 3 times. But it's all good because I wasn't too far in the project to, like, I wasn't far enough to really make me angry about it. But if you do this pattern, I would say maybe just look, see if the number of stitches for the cast on works for you or not. Because you do have the pattern, you need to have a certain amount of stitches to be able to do that pattern. But because I had 3 inches that I actually had to take down, I did the math to figure out a number that was working well for it. So I think she asks for 120. I did 96. So it's still a 24 stitch difference. I did use the weight of yarn that she was asking for with the needle that she was asking for, so it's not It's not a gauge issue at all. It's just, I think I have just a tiny head, to be frankly honest, because it works fine. I did, and because I took down from 120 to 96, that meant I had one less repeat of the pattern all around, or two. I have 2 repeat less of this pattern of the moss stitch and the twisted cable stitch over here. So instead of having the amount that she wanted around, I had 8. But yeah, I mean, when you get the pattern in your head, it's just the same repeat over and over and over again, right? So it's really, really, really intuitive. And it's gorgeous. Like, it's simple. It's nothing crazy. But it's beautiful. I did 1 inch more on the rib that she asks for. And I didn't quite read the pattern correctly. And so she was asking for 10 repeats. And I thought she was asking height-wise, but she was asking round-wise. So when I did 10 inches, not 10 inches, 10 repeats up of the charts that I was doing, and then I measured it, and it was longer than what she asked for, and it took me a little bit to figure out that I just didn't read it properly. So this head is slightly longer than what she actually gives you the pattern for, but that was totally on purpose on me for the rib. Because I have really curly hair, I did want to have something that I can put my hair in without being too scrooshed, and still keep the curls in my hair without being flattened. So yeah, but here it is when you do, because basically you have the option of turning the rib over or not, right? So here it is with the rib over. I love cables. I just love, love, love cables. And being able to actually do that with just a stitch and not having to take the cable needle every time to do something was fantastic. So here we go. That was done. I did this with 4mm needles for the rib and 4.5 millimeter needles for the pattern, and I did it on my oh no, yarn everywhere on the floor. I'll have to pause and pick that up later on. And on my Addi-Click interchangeable circular needles. And I did this with Spud and Chloe sweater worsted yarn. I love it. This was fantastic to knit with. It's soft but still really sturdy. It's 55% wool and 45% organic cotton. It is 160 yards per skein. And yeah, I love this. I have like a burgundy red wine color in it. I have 1 skein of it, and I'm kind of sad that my local yarn shop are not carrying it anymore, because after knitting the Stook with it, I would have bought a bunch more. So if you do have Spud and Chloe at your local yarn shop, I would say go ahead and grab some. Because I did the rib longer and the body of it a little bit longer too, I had to get into my second skein. So the pattern calls for about 160 yards, and I used about 180 yards. So basically, my first skein of yarn ended shortly after the closing of this repeat. So like, I really wasn't missing much. So if I would have not done that extra rib, that extra inch on my rib and that extra inch in here, I probably would have had enough of one skein, but I did not. But it was fine. I had a 2 skein and I was completely okay with getting into the 2nd skein just for a little bit if needed. So here we go. And then, so the story with this, I finished it, and then as soon as it was done, it was on my head, and I used it every single day since then. When I got to work, I kind of always leave my hat and my glove beside my computer in my office. And one day, I don't know why, it was on lunch and we were teasing and I said something about the toque and somebody was like, wait a second. You're a knitter. Did you do that? And from there, it just went into a, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, I want a toque like that. Like, I would pay for a toque like that. This is great. And so what I've decided is that I've decided to knit a toque like this for the 4 ladies that I'm working with. My plan was to finish it for next Thursday. Really not realistic. I haven't finished one yet. I got the yarn a week ago, so, but yeah, so they're probably gonna have it. I'm working with those ladies until, like the 20th of February or something like that. So I still have about a month to do 4 toques, which I think is doable since it took me about a week to do this one. So yeah. So this is done, complete. I love it, and I wear it every single day, and I'm so happy. So because of that, I started one for one of the 4 ladies that I'm working with. So same pattern, same thing. I did the extra inch here. I do have 180 yards of this yarn, so I think I'm gonna go with the extra repeats height-wise too, and see. Ooh, look at this girl. My hair like didn't want it to do anything this morning. It was kind of bad. So same thing, exactly the same thing. I'm gonna do some variations on the other ones. I might do like this, the twist stitch in different directions, or try to do more like a cable lozenge kind of pattern. I'll have to see. And I did it this color because the girl I'm knitting it for has a coat exactly that color, and I'm gonna pair it with a white pom-pom. There's a little bit of glare. Well, because she has white fur around the arms and the hoodie. So this has been started, and this is in the Universal Yarn. It is the Uptown Worsted, and you do have 100 grams and you do have 180 yards, so I should be fine to make 1 toque out of it. It is 100% acrylic and it is machine washable. So here's was a start that I started last week. I also had to, I still tried to do 120 stitches cast on this one because it was a different yarn and I was kind of ready to have to rip it off if needed. And so I did the same thing, and once again it was just way too big. So, and she tried the one that I did, the gray one, and it fitted well on her head. So I think I'm good with going back with the 96 stitches, and I think I'll have to go with the 96 stitches with all the other girls too. And so because I'm talking about those toques that I'm doing for other people, let me pause for a sec because my yarn totally just all went down on the floor, and I will show you the yarn that I got for the other 3 ladies. Okay, sorry about that. I had to change where I record today because of the light. It's a really, really cloudy day today. And where I am normally, I had like all the lights on one side and then really dark on the other, so I had to readjust today. And because of that, I don't have a lot of space to put my stuff on, and I have a lot to show yarn-wise, and so it's all on the armrest of my couch right here, and it totally all fell when I grabbed something over there. So, here is another one that I got. A gorgeous blue and green yarn. It's really, really, really gorgeous. And this is Berroco Ultra Alpaca. The local yarn shop tag is on top of it, but it's on it. You have 215 yarns for 100 gram, which is 50% superfine alpaca and 50% Peruvian wool. It is a size 4, so medium. And this one is a hand wash. But look at that. I really like the difference of blue and greens in it. It's gorgeous. So I'm gonna pair that with a nice gray pom-pom. I'm not sure if she's gonna be a pom-pom girl, so I'm gonna hold on the pom-pom. I'm gonna give it to her. I'm gonna knit the toque and have the pom-pom ready and all the things that I need to install the pom-pom on the toque if she wants a pom-pom. But I'm not too sure if she would be a pom-pom kind of girl. The other one, I know for sure she's a pom-pom kind of girl. The other one that I'm not sure she's a pom-pom kind of girl either. This is a nice gray. She's a really neutral kind of girl, so so I got her that universal uptime worsted too, but I got it in a nice, I like that kind of gray. Like it's a nice medium gray in my world. So I got that, and I got her pom-pom too. And I'm gonna do the same thing. If she wants the pom-pom, she'll have it. If she doesn't, then I'm gonna use it. It's all good. And then the last one is also a Berroco Ultra Alpaca, but it is a purpley one. And it's just different shades of purple in it. And I am gonna pair this with a nice funky purple pom-pom. And I think this girl is gonna like the pom-pom, to be frankly honest. So here we go. So those are the 4 ladies that I will knit for a variation of that hat. Or that hat, depending on how I go. The other thing I was knitting on this month was my Mystery Monthly Sock Along January socks. The yarn that I had this month was the Regia Perfect sock in the color 7121. And so for those who are not familiar with this, I did explain it on the last episode, but really quickly, you basically have a yellow thread of yarn that separates both socks, and if you just start where the yellow ends, then you will have 2 identical socks. And what I did is that I separated my skein, because it already comes in a ball, and I rewinded my ball into 2 little balls, 2 little cakes, so that I could knit them 2 at a time. I'm knitting them 2 at a time, magic loop, on 2 different needles though, not on the same one, and I think that this is my go-to actually. I tried to knit 2 at a time on the same needle, and now that I'm doing 2 at a time on 2 different needles, I like this way better. But let me turn this over. Okay, so here are the 2 socks. Fairly identical so far. I did turn the heel on this one, Fish Lip Kiss heel. I just finished the heel, so I was knitting this one up to catch up, turn on the heel, and then continue from there. But as you can see, this is identical. The markers are just for me to remember on which one I'm knitting on. So if I knit on the blue or on the green, then I can just catch up on how many rows I do. I'm at that point. And so I did rounded toe, which is my go-to. I did 68 stitches this time. These are for my partner. Last time I did 72 stitches and I feel like they're just slightly too big. So I'm trying to 68 and see if that makes a difference enough. If I can say like that, if it makes enough of a difference to actually be a little bit tighter on his feet. And I did 80 rows up from the end of my rounded toe, 80 rows up. I turned the heel. Last time I did 87 and it is just slightly too long. He has really long feet though, but it was just slightly too long. So hopefully the 80 rows instead of 87 is just going to be slightly just what he needed to have the heel stay at the good place, but we'll have to see. And a Fischliebkes heel. I am knitting this, on my Knitter's Pride fixed circulars. They are 32 inches and they are 2.5 millimeter needle. I knit his socks on 2.5 and I knit my socks on 2.25. So here we go. I honestly thought I would be further along on those socks because I really thought I could knit so much during my day at work, but because of the blue light, this kind of turns black and it's really hard for me to knit, which is sad. And normally I would knit in the bus to go to work, but recently I'm taking the bus with my partner, so we mostly talk. I don't necessarily knit, so these had a little layback moment. And on top of the toque that I want to knit, so my goal will be to really finish this in the next week and then go from there. And this is all for the knitting content that I had for today. The little crocheted hexagons that I'm doing. So here they are. I knitted a few this week since the last time. I'm definitely not crocheting, not knitting, crocheting. I'm not crocheting as much as I want to, for sure. And I think that's why I kind of like the fact of maybe doing 30 minutes a day and just do like one hexagon a day and then it's going to be done. And I had like 2 different yarn weight. And I didn't want to lose those because I just had leftovers, but they don't fit with the other ones. So I decided to start to just make hexagons out of them, and when I'm gonna have enough to make a blanket, I'll just make a blanket. And then I can have like a summer blanket, which is just like a little bit thinner and lighter, and then I can have a winter blanket, which is bigger weight and warmer. So the 2 that I've done are the, I think that's Cascade Eco Duo Alpaca singles, and here's how they turned out. I really like them. I really do. It's so soft. And because I don't have a lot of heavyweight or like worsted on, like bulkier weight yarn, I've just decided to crochet as much as I could from the leftovers that I have, because this is normally not a go-to weight that I go for. Normally fingering is what I go for, but fingering and lace. And so yeah, so I've just decided to crochet as much as I could out of the leftovers that I had, and I'm totally okay with the fact that I'm gonna have multiple of one colors and more in another one, and and so on and so on. So I do have 4 hexagons of this one. And I have 3 hexagons of this one. This one, I'll put the name here below. This is a project I've done quite a long time ago. So see how the 3 of them are like completely different? Those 2 are a little bit more look-alike, but they're still quite different because of the color changing. I really like this little part over here. Let me put those down. This like medium blue. I like this one very much. So here's a close-up of this one. Here's a close-up of this one. And here's a close-up of this one. So, I've done 3 out of those. I have a little bit left, but I don't think I have enough to actually make an hexagon out of it. So I'll have to figure out. So what do you guys do with all your teeny tiny leftovers that you can't really do anything with it? Do you like throw them out? What do you do? Like, I know there's a bunch of people right now that do like those magic balls so that they can crochet and just go on and like never have to think about changing. Like, the color is just going to change whenever it changes. But what do you do with those little teeny tiny scraps that you can't really do anything with it because it's too small to do anything with? Do you throw them out or do you keep them for something? Let me know. I'm really curious to see what you guys do with it. So these are for the bigger weight. I have some more Cascade Eco Duo, but in a oatmeal color, which I really, really like too, which I'm going to make some hexagons with it. And then I had a Barocco Lustra in a nice deep jewel green color, the one that I had on my sweater that I've knitted last summer. But that color really bleeds out, and I'm a little bit on the defense to actually put this in a blanket because it really, really bleeds out. So, or I go and buy some citric acid and try to make it better. I don't know. If you have a trick, please go ahead and let me know, but that one bleeds out so much that I kind of don't want to use it because it bleeds out so much. So, let me know if you have any tricks to balance that out. And then my tiny hexagons one. I like the size of those ones. They're like super tiny. So I do have 2 of those. And here you go. I like those colors. I'm not a big color girl. I have a lot of white and beige and black in my wardrobe. A lot. But I don't know why. This color, I just really, really like it. Like, I would see a really nice, like, cardigan vest with this. And maybe mix it with a nice light beige or something. This, actually. Like, this and this. For me, would make a great vest. But, oh well. This beige is to make my center hexagons. So I need to get on that because I'm at a point where I want to attach them together, but I need those beige ones to actually attach them together. So I'll have to crochet a bunch of those. So here we go. That was a special Knit Crate, which is a subscription box, but Knit Crate had this colorway it was a special Doctors Without Border yarn. So basically you were buying it and the proceeds were going to Doctors Without Borders. So here we go. I have 2 of those. I have 2 of this one, which was part of a swap that I've done, and I love it. It's so, like, it's fall. It's fall in a skein. and I really, really love it. So you have 2 of those. And I have 2 of those, which is from the same skein. But there's a really slight color change in there, as you can see, and in here too. Oops. There's also a slight color change from the inside to the outside. And then you can imagine that there was like an in between this. I'm just looking to see if I have enough to make a third one with that in-between color. And if I do, then I'll make another one because they are completely different, so it doesn't bother me to have 3 from the same skein. Because so far I'm knitting 2 out of everything that I have. And then I'll go from there. And if I do not have enough, well, then I have at least 2. So these are the hexagons that I have so far. I also knitted, crocheted, 2 other black hexagon in a leftover alpaca yarn that I had. The colleague for whom I'm making the blue toques, always saying that her nose is super cold, and she's always putting scarf over her nose to kind of like warm it up, and she's like, I need a nose cozy. I just need a nose cozy. And so as I was crocheting an hexagon, one of the white ones, I played a little bit with it, and I was like, what if I tuck the 2 corners together and then it kind of has a nose shape to it? So I did that. I used my leftover black alpaca yarn. I've made an hexagon out of it. I tagged the corners and attached 2 cords on each side and made a nose cozy for her, and she was the happiest woman alive that day. It was funny to see that just making that made her that happy. So that was fantastic for sure. That's all I have content-wise. I did a little bit of cross stitch, but really not enough. It's about 50 stitches, so I'll wait to actually start to have a shape on it to actually show it to you guys. So for the rest of this episode, I'm going to show you the yarn that will be up for grab for the Mystery Monthly Sock Along Cal. I haven't chosen yet which one will be monthly prices and which one will be the big end of the Cal win. I've decided which one I will draw on the 7th of February for January, and go from there. I think I will look every month and see kind of like what the month was looking like and figure out a color or something that was working well with what happened or how it was or anything. And so so the first one that I will give away for the January month is that Lorna's Laced hand-dyed one. It's a color that I really like, and I just felt like it was like January-ish, like a little bit of wintry. I love how it knits up, and I love how it feels. I love how it holds. I love everything about this yarn. So this is the Soulmate base, which is a 55 superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 30% Outlast viscose. It is a super fine yarn. You have 425 yards for 100 grams. It is a machine wash gold, which is always nice for socks. And it is in the color 76, which is Aslan. So Lorna's Lace. Whoops. Yeah, Lorna's Lace. So this is going to be what will be up for grab for January. You still have time to put up your socks in there if you were knitting it. And then we'll go from there. So the other options that we will have, just a heads up that not every yarn will be sock yarn. because simply because there's not only sock yarn either, and I also know a lot of people that knit socks with not necessarily sock yarn. So I just thought that doing a little bit of both, sock yarn and non-sock yarn, would be a good balance for everything. So here we go. Another one that we have is Hedgehog sock yarn into the Venus colorway. Oh, that's better. That's one. The other one that we do have is the Sweet Georgia. And it is in the Tough Love sock. So here is, and they come as a combo, so here we go. Another one that is not a sock yarn is, it was a special yarn box colorway. So for those who knows yarn box, it's a monthly subscription box. And it is made from Skano, the company Skano. Whoops. Here we go. And this is in Splendid La Boheme. And we have two of those, so those ones will go together. There is, oops, Drew Emborski, Sarcastic Decades in the 60s colorway. This color is Blacklight. It is extremely soft. What's in it? It's Peruvian cotton and tencel. So here you go. And there is two colorways in this. So there's Lava Lamp, which is this orange, and Blacklight, which is this pink purpley. And I will keep those together too, since they are the same brand, same yarn, just different colors. It can also be nice to do stripy things with it, or whatever you want, or two different projects. So those two will be together. And then we have some Malabrigo Rios in the Indiachita? 416. That's what I'm gonna say. In the color 416. Which is this great blue and green colorway. And then we have some Noro yarn. This one, this composition, it is the Silk Garden sock yarn. So it is 40% lamb's wool, 25% silk, 25% nylon, and 10% kid mohair. It is 300 meters. And it's color number S307. So here it is. And see the color changes in the inside. I think you see it a little bit better here. Goes to a nice green and then goldish. So here you go. We will also have another Malabrigo in Lavenda, which is 066. Nice purple. It has like a little bit of a light brown purpley here too. There is 3 wool, 70% superfine merino, 30% tencel, machine washable. And is there a colorway for this? I don't see a colorway number for it. I really, really like this yarn. I'm kind of sad that I can't participate in it because I really like it. It's really nice colors. And then there will also be, we have 2 skeins of this, which was a Knit Crate, yarn. It is from the Buffalo Wool Company. And it was an exclusive color and yarn for Knit Crate Holiday of 2014. Buffalo Skies DK, 50% bison, 50% superwash merino, 250 yards. And there is 2 skeins of this. And then there is 2 skeins of this. I looked for the tag and I couldn't find it. I know it's a Skeino yarn, so I will keep searching while this video is uploading, and hopefully I'll be able to find it before I edit it and post it on YouTube. So if I do, I will put the name over here. But you do have 2 skeins as well. Some blue, some orange, some purple, some black and brown. There is those 2 that I will also keep together because they're the same thing, just in different colors. So, and this is, it's the Imperial Yarn Company. It's from Oregon. And it is wool and cotton. It's a 2-ply. And so this color is 327 Denim Dusk. And then you have this one, which is color 127 Marion Berry Pie. And then you also will have, there's 2 more, guys, 2 more. Malabrigo in the 120 colorway, which is Lotus. And then the last one, it is a Madeline Tosh Merino Light, which is 100% superwash merino, 420 yards, and it is in the color Chamomile. This gorgeous yellow. So here's everything that will be up for grab. There will probably be some project bagged and things like that for the end, for the big prize. But I will see when I will be at the point where I can get a little bit closer to that. So I think this is all I have for you today, guys. I mean, overall, it still ended up in the same amount of time that I normally take, but I had a lot of yarns to show you for the mystery sock along. So thank you for everybody who stayed that long, and I hope you will have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.